What's going on, team? Caveman here from the Caveman YouTube channel and bringing you a brand new video series for the rest of the NFL season, looking at my predictions for the totals on the remainder of the game. So we're going to kick it off with NFL Week 14. Now, guys, make sure to like the video, give a wee subscribe there, and ring that notification bell so you know exactly when we're uploading content. We've got a bunch of content coming out at the moment. I think we've got about 4 or 5 videos dropping today, so lots to look forward to on the Caveman Bets YouTube channel. So let's get straight into it. We've got the Raiders at the Chiefs, and I'm looking at under the total of 48 here. Chiefs have been a lot better defensively than they have to begin the season, and this is a bit of a trend that you can notice over the last few years. They really do start to kick it up a notch when they get into the business part of the season. Raiders offense, outside of that Dallas game, has just looked atrocious. Obviously, Ruggs was one of their best offensive players, and without him, they just have looked a lot more stagnant than they did to begin the season. Now, Saints at the Jets, we have a total of 43, and once again, I can only look under this total. Saints and the Jets have both been under teams all season. The Jets struggle offensively, and their defense has actually been okay. I haven't minded their defense this season. Saints with Taysom Hill under center, they're not going to be scoring a lot of points any day of the week, and they are generally supposed to be a stronger defensive side, even though we haven't seen that for the last 4 weeks. But facing a side like the Jets looks like a better spot where they can get that right. So under the 43 there. 49ers at the Bengals. Generally, for this game, I would be looking at over the total of 49, but I'm actually going to go under. Now, I'm going to go under because I have this feeling that Joe Burrow's hand injury is a lot worse than what they're letting on. And if Joe Burrow can't be throwing the ball right, or even if he sits this week, then this game is a dead set under on that 49. The 49ers are a run the ball and milk the clock team. The Bengals, without Burrow, like I said, there's no way they're going to be putting up a ton of points. So I'll be going under the 49. Jaguars at the Titans, we have a 43.5 total. And once again, I'm going under the total on this one. The Titans have been struggling offensively, and the Jaguars look all just set for a spot where they could keep this game close or at least be competitive. Their defense has been a lot better than their offense all season, and this looks like just the right spot for the Jaguars here. So with that in mind, I will be looking at under the 43.5. Ravens at the Browns, and well, we've got a trend coming on here because once again, I'm looking under the total of 42.5. There's a lot of unders I'm liking on the early games this week. Ravens, their offense is just stagnant. There's really not a lot that they can do when you've got Devonta Freeman as your lead running back in 2021. That is not something that you want to be happening. Lamar Jackson may be having the worst season of his career. The pass catches are all very hit or miss. There's nothing really to get excited here. Defensively, their pass rush and their run defense has been strong, but their pass defense now and their coverage unit, especially without Marlon Humphrey, is going to struggle for the remainder of the season. The Browns look to be getting a wee bit healthier on the offensive side and their offensive line in particular. And Baker Mayfield is set to be taking a few more strides this week, which is definitely a good thing there. But once again, this is a run the football team. I see both teams are taking long drives that will probably end in field goals. So I'm going to go with under the 42.5. Now we've got the Falcons at the Panthers, a 41.5 total. And once again, you can only look under on this one. The Panthers and Falcons struggle offensively, both teams do, and their defenses are both better than their offenses, which is something I'm always looking for when I'm looking under a total. Now the Cowboys at the Washington football team, total of 48, and this is where I'll be taking my first over on the day here. The Cowboys obviously are a pass-first, pass-down-the-field team, although their running game is also very good with the banged-up Ezekiel Elliott and the underrated Tony Pollard. Washington football team, they are run-first. And if they're not running the ball, they're passing it to Terry McLaurin, but they are going to be running the ball down the Cowboys' throat with Antonio Gibson. Now, the Cowboys have struggled this season with stopping the run. The football team have struggled this season with stopping the pass. So I see an absolute shootout here, and we're going to go over that 48-point total. Seahawks at the Texans, we have a low total of 40.5, and I still want to go over this total. Usually the lower totals, I prefer to lean towards the underside, but this one here, I can see a lot of points. Both the Seahawks and Texans struggle defensively. Obviously, they struggle offensively as well, but their defenses are the worst units of the two. You've got some weapons on each side that can definitely poke holes in these defenses. I think both teams are going to be giving it their all. Their seasons are over, so this is a game where they really need to come in and they can score a bit more freely than if the playoffs were still on the line. I know technically the Seahawks can still get in, but I find it highly, highly unlikely. I think they'd need to win the rest of the games and get results go their way. We have the Lions at the Broncos, a total of 42, and under is the only way I can see this. To be honest, I don't even know if the Lions are going to put up any points in Mile High Stadium. The Broncos have been a strong team at home this season, unless they've been playing the Philadelphia Eagles, and this is just the perfect spot for them. The Lions are going to be on a high after their first win of the season, but that's going to be where it ends. They've got a lot of COVID issues right now, especially around the running back room. So I think they're going to be running out a third or fourth string running back this week, which isn't going to be great for them, especially with the Denver Broncos being solid on defense. So I'm going to look under the 42 total there. Giants at the Chargers, we have a total of 43. And even though Jake Fromm is going to be under center for the Giants, I'm going to look over this total of 43. Now, the main reason I'm doing this is because I really think the Chargers are going to be able to name their score in this game. I can see them putting up 31 to 37 points here, and the Giants, I've got between 10 to 14 points. I know it's hard to say an over when I'm rating one of these teams so lowly, but I really think the Chargers have got a great chance to score the majority of the points in this game. Bills at the Buccaneers, we have a 54-point total, and you can only play the over here. We've got two high-profile, full-throttle offenses that are going to be throwing the ball all day, and they're just going to keep throwing it. The defenses aren't going to be able to keep up here. I see both quarterbacks going off. They could both have 300 plus yards and 3 or 4 touchdowns each. I really think this is going to be an absolute shootout and an absolute war. Potentially a Super Bowl preview, although I don't think the Bills are quite good enough to be able to get there. Bears at the Packers, we have a 43.5-point total, and I'm looking under on this one here. So the Packers, obviously high-profile offense, but very under-the-radar defense. They've got one of the best defensive units in the league, and that's even with their banged-up secondary for a lot of the season. The Bears, I think, are going to struggle in Lambeau to put up many points at all. Maybe 7 to 10 points might be the peak for this Bears unit. And the Packers are a team that once they get up by a couple of the scores, they just run the ball, work the clock. So I see a lot of that happening in this game. So I'm going under the 43.5 points. Finally, Monday Night Football, we've got the Rams at the Cardinals, 51.5-point total, and I'm looking over the total here. Both teams, of course, high-profile offenses and great defenses as well, but it's going to be the offenses that are going to come to play. So I'm definitely looking over the 51.5 here. All right, guys, so that does it. Those are my predictions on the spread, on the totals for NFL Week 14. Now, I'm going to do a quick recap next week as we keep a running tally of how we're going with these, and we will see how we're looking at the end of the season. All right, guys, so of course, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell so you know exactly when our content is going live, and we will see you back next week. Cheers, guys.